Hello everyone, my name is Peter, and today my guest is Marten from Red Lion Biomedical. Marten, why don't you introduce yourself and your company briefly?
As you said, I'm Martin from Red Lion Biomedical, and we produce alchemical products and carbon-60. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the company? How you started, what time frame?
Started back in 2017, and we were buying carbon-60 and putting it into olive oil, dissolving it into olive oil, and then selling it. And then the supply ran out of carbon. We couldn't buy carbon-60 anywhere. So we were forced to make our own, which it's quite an easy, it sounds very easy to do, because basically you get a welding machine and put two carbon rods together in a vacuum and you'll get carbon-60. But the actual practicality of doing that is really difficult, really challenging. And there's a lot of different factors where if they're wrong this way, slightly out this or that way, you're not going to get carbon-60. It has to be a certain way. It has to be, done a certain thing. But we did it, and we then got university certification for it. And then we started to make alchemical products. My history is I used to do stained glass, and I had to invent everything with the stained glass, because there's not really many instruction books on hand painted stained glass which is fired in a kiln. So I was on Discovery Channel for that, and the Irish National Papers, and I was on Irish television for stained glass. So I have a lot of knowledge in inventing. That's my whole background.
You are an inventor.
Oh, since I was a little
Okay.
kid, I was inventing things, yeah. And then, of course, like one of the things I was big into was spirituality, and learning. That led into, from Louise L. Hay, all that kind of stuff. It led into all of the magic. It started to veer towards Hermetic magic, Western Christian Hermetic magic. And from there, then I developed Alchemy and used that on the products. And so here we have had many, many testimonies from people, dozens and dozens and dozens of testimonies. We've healed cancer, autoimmune diseases, huge amount of things.
Okay, so it all started with C60. You said that it ran out and you wanted to use it for your product, and so then you decided to create your own. Could you tell me a little bit more about how that went? So you had to build your own reactor, and you already knew that it sounds like a basic process, but actually creating your reactor, how did you do it? What kind of research did you do?
I feel I was definitely guided on it, because it is so difficult.
This is a very, very difficult process. This is for large corporations with millions or even billions of budget and large personnel, dozens of people.
And money won't do it. If you have $1 million or 10 million, if you don't know how to do it, it doesn't matter how many dollars you have. So there are very, very few people producing it, and if they do, they produce tiny, tiny quantities of it. They have to separate what they use is toluene as a solvent to separate the carbon-60 from soot, because when you make carbon-60, you're also making a lot of carbon-70, C85, and you're making a lot of soot as well. So you have to separate that. So it's a really, really fine molecular powder, and but we are able to separate it without toluene, because toluene adds, although you dissolve it in the toluene and you then dry the toluene from the carbon-60, there's always a trace of toluene left, a couple of molecules left, attached.
Stuck inside.
Stuck to the side of the...
And so for the viewers who don't know, carbon 60 is this fullerene molecule. It's 60 carbon atoms shaped like a soccer ball.
Like a soccer ball, yeah.
Yeah, and what it does is it's a very, very strong antioxidant. And so what it does, it collects free radicals and it keeps it in absorbed until it is taken out.
Yeah, it gets rid of oxidative stress, gets rid of all the oxides in the body that are destroying the body.
And also other toxins like heavy metals and not necessarily just...
yeah, I'm not sure about the heavy metals, but I know that it certainly gets rid of the... Well, it would, I think, because they are oxidative.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a huge... It gives you a longer... Because your body doesn't have to fight age-related stress, these free radicals make you age. So carbon 60 removes those, so you've got a lot more energy and you're a lot healthier. You won't get any colds and flus or anything like that. And if you do, they'll be very short-lived. So particularly with older people, you'll notice older people getting more benefit out of it than younger people.
Okay. You also mentioned that your C60 was tested by, was it Queen's University of Belfast?
Yeah. So we got it tested. It was very difficult to test it because when we make ours is a liquid crystal. So you got your liquid crystal displays. People know what liquid crystals are.
Yeah.
And ours is a liquid crystal. So HPLC won't test it very well unless it's set up a certain way. A better machine to test it with is FTIR. But we managed to get it tested, and what we actually had to do was decrystallize it first and then give it to the university because they're really very strict. They would, they were very nice and all that, but they were very strict. They will not certify something unless they're absolutely 100% certain. So after running back and forward with them, we decrystallized it, and they discovered it. They seen it there, and so we have university the only company C60 company in the world with university certificate.
Okay, and so you have their report on your website, so anyone can go there and read it if they're interested.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show this diagram quickly. So can you explain what we are seeing here?
Well, there's Red Lion. So liquid chromatography is a little bit like putting a piece of paper into some ink, and all the colors will separate out on the piece of paper, a little bit like tie-dye. You know the t-shirts with tie-dye.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. So C70 shows up here, maybe C85 shows up here, and but carbon 60 shows up here on the graph, and this one here is Red Lion carbon 60. This blue one is Sigma Aldrich, and this one here is Sigma. This one here is Solaris Chem, a Canadian company.
Two other manufacturers.
Yeah, so that's what that is.
But it doesn't really matter because you claim that all other C60 manufacturers, every single brand that you can find on the market is done in a similar way, and your C60 stands out. It is the best quality in the world.
I know that they use toluene, and you simply can't dissolve something in toluene and expect it to remain unchanged. Even when you try to remove the toluene, even after you try to use what they're using now is sublimation.
Okay, and can you explain what sublimation does to the C60 molecule?
It fractures it very badly. Sublimation is high heat, and it literally evaporates out of the solution. But it fractures and damages the molecule pretty badly, the carbon 60 molecule, because people are trying to get away from using hexane or toluene or any of these really, really toxic chemicals. But sublimation it's expensive, and it's very difficult to do, and it doesn't produce very good results. But we figured out a way, invention again, of managing to separate the soot and the carbon 60 from each other and have a very, very pure carbon 60, which is a very perfect shape. with no
So it's the perfect geometrical shape.
Perfect.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what other manufacturers are doing, but anybody who uses toluene, they shouldn't be used. It's toxin.
Yeah.
It's extremely, extremely dangerous.
Okay, so the alternative is sublimation, but even that damages the molecule. And it also changes the color, right?
Well, you see, the thing is, the color, this is the proof that they used.
Because your C60 has a different color. It's
a light gold. It's a light gold color, ours is, because it's a liquid crystal. You see, if you have lots of footballs and and you put them into a cage, they'll all structure themselves, won't they?
Yes.
They'll all fit in with each other, and then you'll be able to see light through through the gaps of the balls, because they're all uniform shaped. They'll all fit into each other. But if you have a toluene molecule, let's say you have a tennis ball attached to every football, and you throw all the footballs into the cage, it's going to be random. They're not going to fit into each other because there's a tennis ball stuck to it. So that's what toluene, that's why then the light is forced to go through the C60 molecule itself, because there's no gaps. And that's why you get the red color. The red color is there because of toluene.
I see. And but you do pulverization, so the liquid crystal breaks up?
Yeah, I'm not sure, I haven't looked at it under electron microscope, but we absolutely smash it to pieces over days to make it very it's the most bioavailable carbon 60 on the market.
And then it turns red again? Or, like, I know that your C60 olive oil product has a red color.
Yes, we decrystallize it so that you can, because a lot of customers were saying this isn't carbon 60. I can't see the red color, because people are now programmed that the red color is carbon 60 when it's actually carbon 60 with toluene. So we actually decrystallized it for people so that they would, because people are like that, they want the aesthetics.
And what if you order C60 in olive oil from some other manufacturer and theirs are purple? What's the difference there?
I'm not sure why his is purple. Are you talking C60 Purple Power, is it maybe?
Yeah, I remember there's one.
I haven't seen theirs, so I can't really comment. All I can say is that maybe why theirs is purple, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Maybe they do use a different solvent.
I see, okay. All right, so your first product was C60 in olive oil. This was a couple of years ago now. And that's not the end of the story. So you use high quality, high concentration, perfectly geometrically formed C60 in high quality olive oil from Greece, but you also treat it in a particular method, and this is also your own invention. You didn't learn this from anyone, you came up with these methods on your own.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that treatment, what happens there?
Which kind
I mean the alchemical treatment.
Oh, the alchemical treatment. So most people know who Dr. Emoto was and his research on.
And I have a photo because we talked about it before. And for those who don't know, I think this image is a very good impression. And you can test this yourself at home. You don't need anything. You just need a freezer and maybe a glass surface and a small drop of water and pen and paper. So you write these words like angel, peace, spirit, and then these are nicely formed crystals. But if you write you disgust me, then it's all amorphous. And and then I also had another one. Yeah, this is probably even more popular. So almost everybody has seen these, but they don't really take this seriously. But this is just proof that words, and it's not really the writing on the paper, but this is the meaning behind the words. This is our consciousness. It doesn't matter what language you use. This is our consciousness interacting with matter, and this is the perfect proof. This is what you wanted to get to, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So our bodies are made of 70% water.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So our thoughts have an effect on our bodies. Now, as regards to C60, we don't put our, well, we do put our wish intention into the carbon 60, but we gather spiritual power because we're not the only ones who can change water. The universe can too, and it produces its own crystals, really perfect, beautiful ones. So we can take the energy through equipment, using equipment, we can actually take the energy from the universe and concentrate it into that product, into that oil. And depending on what we want it for. So if we want to heal cancer, well then we will get a female. Cancer is very fiery, so we'll get a female product and we'll make that and then enhance its power. So it's true to say that cannabis or CBD oil does cure cancer, right? But only in a very limited way. It will not heal.
Isn't potent enough.
It's not powerful enough. Yeah. So what we can do, what we do is we actually get the particular plant or whatever it is, and we it's like adding gasoline to it. It's like adding petrol to it or fuel to it, and we increase its power by thousands of times.
Okay, so that explains this whole alchemical treatment concept. And for C60, you don't really put in any specific male or female frequency. You just implant some healing frequency to it, or?
Yeah, that's what we did in that case. And we have like a guy on my website there. I sent some carbon 60 off to a YouTuber called Kay Elmer, and he sent it to his friend. And he forgot about it then. It was like 3 months later. He found out, he sent 2 bottles, a bottle of Red Lion carbon 60, R1, and somebody else's carbon 60 in olive oil. And so the guy had a rash on his chest for 9 years, and they tried the first he tried the first carbon 60 and it didn't do anything to the rash at all. And he tried ours, and the rash disappeared after 1 night. Now, he had the rash 9 years. So that shows the difference between the power of alchemy versus non-alchemy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you also have another product where you use C60 with coconut oil,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a cream which is intended to be applied topically only. You cannot take it, or I don't know, you could probably, but it is intended for topical application.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you explain what is the difference between these 2 products?
The Elixir, I call it Sekhmet Elixir. The Elixir is much, much, much more powerful than carbon 60. Anything you take internally must be very, excuse me, must be very gentle. Okay, so you can use much more powerful products on the outside of your body. So Kay Elmer had a black widow spider bite. He got a spider bite here on his chest, and which is a trip to the ER immediately. And see, he used the Elixir on it, and he says within an hour there was no pain, and after a week it was gone, no scarring. He didn't have to go to hospital or anything like that. So that's the power of that.
Yes, and based on this product, you invented a new product called Nicolas Flamel Elixir of Youth, and it is specifically targeting reducing your age. But you have to prepare your body. I think, I don't know, was it 3 jars of the elixir first, or? Yeah.
See, anytime you try to accomplish any change at all, you will get what's called a healing crisis.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what, some people, they take heroin and they stop taking heroin, and you would think, oh, well, if they stop taking it, they should be getting better immediately. But what actually happens? They get cold turkey. Their body goes into nearly shock, the healing thing. So our product's extremely powerful. So an ordinary person couldn't take the healing power of that. It would put their body into shock. So we start off with one gentle one, and then we make we can sell them another more powerful, slightly more powerful. There's like about 15 or 20 levels to it. I'm on about level 6 at the moment. I have to go very slowly.
And how many jars have you had to consume in order to get here?
Yeah, that was, well, I remember starting, well, I was using the Elixir for a long time anyway, and then I went on to one with 1 mil fire potion in it, and then 2 mil. And then I stayed on 3 mil jars before moving on to 4 mil. And then I had another jar of that. And then I'm on the last one now at the moment, which is 6 mil. But I can make that more powerful again, you know. So yeah, I'm pretty healthy, very healthy.
Okay, so to simplify, this Nicholas Flamel Elixir of Youth is just the Elixir plus the fire potion.
Yes, and then a higher version would be with chloroquine and red calcium in it as well, 2 very powerful substances. And the most recent one I'm putting in ginseng for hair restoration.
Oh yeah, I also wanted to mention, I totally forgot about your hair products, which I have also tried, and I have seen results.
I've got all this back. I
yeah.
actually have a fringe now. I know it doesn't look marvelous progress.
But yeah, we can see your hairline, and in a few years it will be...
That wasn't there. Like I had only a small patch of hair here now, and you can see baby hairs all around here.
Oh,
it's all coming back.
For me, it was just it got a little bit thinner, and also here because I have hair, but it's very, very thin, so you can see my scalp. But I have seen, and also others, they can see there are baby hairs, and it is getting thicker over time. Although I don't use it very consistently.
Yeah, it's our testosterone. Yeah, it's really high.
That's speaking of testosterone. You also have an amazing product, actually, too, because there are 2 versions of Adonis.
Yeah.
Could you introduce that is specifically for men?
Yeah, Adonis is really phenomenal product. I'm really delighted to be able to bring Adonis to people, to men particularly.